Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a monthly flip through in my Hobonichi cousin Avec. And in this video, we're going to be going through all of my May spreads. So we'll be looking at my May year at a glance, my May monthly spread, my May weekly spreads, and all of my daily spreads. So if you would like to see everything that happened to me and how I used my planner during the month of May, then go ahead and keep watching. All right, so the first spread that we're going to be looking at is my year at a glance. And this is the way that I use this page is as a monthly index. The very top of my page is my books read, pages read, and then my subscriber count for this channel. And then I also have a reading channel. And then the middle part of the page is all of the kind of big things that happened during the month that I might want to refer back to. And if any of them have a little dot next to it, that means there is a picture that is on that page as well. And then the bottom part of this page is my favorite books of the month and the top 3 and their rankings. This has been my favorite way to use the Hobonichi Cousin Year at a Glance page, and I actually have referred back to this quite a few times during the year because I know this is just an easy way to get some thoughts for some really important things that happened during the year. I can refer back to this. It's really easy for me to find that particular entry and flip right to it. So absolutely love this. So for the month of May, I read 10 books. I had 2,210 pages. My planning channel, this channel, the subscriber count increased by 12. My reading channel, the subscriber count increased by 3. And then I had quite a few things that happened during the month. And then the bottom part with my books, my favorite book was Scythe and Sparrow, which is book 3 of the, I believe it's the Ruinous Love trilogy. I think that's the name of the trilogy. That was book 3 of that trilogy, and it was very good. I gave it a 4.75. Kill Switch was book 3 of the Devil's Night series. I ended up giving that a 4.5. And then Quicksilver was book 1 of whatever the series name of that one is, and I gave that a 4.5 as well. So that is my year at a glance, specifically for the month of May. And now we're going to switch to the May monthly spread. So for the month of May, I have been using up my Sterling Ink subscription that I get every month. I used it for this month, and I set this up at the beginning of the month just to kind of get a good idea of some of the big things that are happening during that month, but I honestly don't refer back to this very often. But I do like to have it set up because it is just really pretty to when you're flipping through your planner and you see all these beautiful spreads with all these beautiful stickers that while I don't use this on a daily basis during the month, it's really cute to look at when you do happen to flip through it. So this was my May monthly spread using the Sterling Ink subscription kit. And now we're going to flip to the weekly spreads. Okay, I don't know if I showed this in the April flip through or not, but this is the first week of May. It actually is the spread for April the 28th through May the 4th. And for this week, I ended up just using some Coffee Monsters Co. washi. This like yellow greenish highlighter is the mild liner. This is the whatever yellow tone in the Calm set that just recently came out from the mild liner line. That's what this is from. So I liked this. This was using a Uni Jetstream pen, and it's definitely not my favorite pen. It's a ballpoint pen, and I definitely like the thicker, darker ink, but I do like to every once in a while switch it up and use the Uni Jetstream. That was the first week in May. This was the second week of May. This was me using the Hubman and Chub Girl subscription kit. I just recently started that subscription, and so this was the month of May. I ended up using a bunch of the stickers that came from whatever kit the name was. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but it had a bunch of cows and cameras and pictures, and it was just so cute. And then for the washi, this washi I got from Jet Pens. And then this washi is actually Coffee Monsters Co. washi that I think it was in a subscription kit I don't think I'm mistaken. I think that's from a subscription kit, but That was from Coffee Monsters Co. And then the bulk of everything else was Hubman and Shopgirl or some Coffee Monsters Co. stickers. This was the second week of May. This was the 12th through the 18th. And normally this happens pretty much every single time. But if I have a week like this, where I had a lot of stickers, a lot of big stickers, and a lot kind of going on in my spreads, usually the very next week is very minimalistic. So this was using basically just one washi from Coffee Monsters Co. And then everything else, all of the little stickers that were on the week were the mini icons that came from Coffee Monsters Co. And the only big stickers are the ones that I put down at the bottom for my like reading. This was also, I was trying to track my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I did have, in addition to reading, I did have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner section, and I didn't do that as much as I wanted to. So that was, I think this was the only week that I did that, and it just got to the point where I would forget what I would eat and I wouldn't have my planner handy. So by the time I was in my planner trying to back plan, I had forgotten what I was eating. So you live and learn. Then we have the 19th through the 25th. This again used some Coffee Monsters Co. washis. This was the new one that came from a subscription kit. I absolutely love this washi. Just the colors and the tones and the theme of the subscription kit, and the washi in particular is just chef's kiss perfect. Love that oh so much. Then we also have Coffee Monsters Co. up above, and then we have some Hubman and Shopgirl stickers kind of scattered throughout. And in this spread, I ended up using the brown Sarasa. I think it was just the Sarasa. It wasn't the Mark On, and it wasn't the Sarasa Dry. I think it was just a regular Sarasa pen. I'm not quite sure what it was, but this was also using the brown ink. So I felt like I wanted to kind of match my ink with the theme that was in the washi, and I really liked it. It was really pretty. And then this is the last week of May. This was the 26th of May through June the 1st. This was my birthday week, so I ended up buying quite a bit ago a Hubman and Shopgirl birthday weekly kit, and I bought it specifically for either my birthday or one of my kids' birthdays, and I just never used it for my oldest daughter's birthday. I don't think it had it at the time, so I was the next birthday and I decided to use it for myself. I definitely have plenty more stickers that I can use for my youngest birthday coming up in July, so you'll probably see the same kind of stickers very shortly, but this was for my week, my birthday week, so this was definitely very heavy in stickers, but I did really like it. I liked the colors, really loved the theme, and yeah, this was the last weekly spread in the month of May in my Hobonichi Cousin. So now let's flip to the daily pages. Okay, so in the month of May, or actually I should say, for all of my daily spreads, this first page that comes in the Hobonichi Cousin is blank at the beginning of every month, and I end up using that as a place to put my reading scores for that month that comes out of the Storygraph app. So this is basically the synopsis of what I read in the month of May. Again, these were the 3 books that I had already called out. I already told you about how many books I read, how many pages I read. This month, I also listened to 66 hours of an audiobook. I have, because I'm going back to work, I have really been trying to only listen to audiobooks to and from work. So I read 66 hours of an audiobook, and then I had an average rating of 4.22, and my average time to finish a book was 7 days. This is the how many pages, equivalent pages and minutes that I listen to audiobooks. The green is the pages, the yellow is the audiobook, like the minutes listened. So it just kind of gives you an idea of what my day or my month looked like, I should say. And then these were all of the books that I was either reading or listening to for the month of May. So now we're going to go ahead and dive into the actual daily pages. I did go ahead and kind of tip in some vellum that I got from my Sterling Ink subscription. I absolutely love that subscription because you get so many stickers, and then you also get 2 full-size pages of vellum paper that are really pretty designs, but I never know what to do with them, so I ended up cutting it to size as an A5 size and decided to put it as kind of like the middle page before going into my daily pages. And yeah, kind of like it. So we have my vellum, and then this starts the official first day of the month of May. I do like to, at the very beginning of the month, go ahead and write down the pen that I'm using and the marker that I'm using for that month. I do try to use a pen or a theme that kind of goes with the color that the Hobonichi uses in their daily pages. So for the month of May, I used Tombow 992, and then I used the Sarasa Mark-On in 0.5. And then I also have, you'll see a bunch of these big stickers. These come from the washi tape shop, which I do have a code for. I also have a code for Hubman and Chub Girl, so if you'd be interested in any kind of discounts, I have the links and the codes in the description box, so definitely take a gander at that. Both of those I highly, highly, highly recommend. I love both of those companies, so definitely check them out if you're looking for some great stickers. So I have codes and links down below. But I do have some stickers that I use on all my pages just to kind of fill up the page, and it makes it look more like a journal, like a junk journal kind of, than just writing from top to bottom, left to right, like a full page. I feel like it's not very appealing to the eye. So I do have big stickers that I try to put out on each page in different locations. So on the 2nd, I was caught in a storm coming home from work. I was actually leaving my office, and when I got in my car in the morning, I knew there was storms coming, and in my head, I said, I need to bring my umbrella. I thought about that as I parked my car, opened my door, and left my umbrella in my car. So in the afternoon, when I was leaving, I did not have an umbrella, and it was probably the worst storm I had ever physically been in, and I got soaked from head to toe within 5 seconds of leaving my building to get to my car. I was dripping, looking like I just walked out of a shower with all of my clothes on by the time I got to my car. It was ridiculous. So I loved that for me. Luckily, that was in the afternoon and it wasn't in the morning, so I guess there's a silver lining to that. The 3rd didn't really have anything. I stayed home and I did some my mid-year write-ups for my job. On the 4th, I ended up dyeing my youngest hair. I ended up getting some Manic Panic semi-permanent dye in the color red because I did not know how it was going to work. It was the first time I've used Manic Panic before, and it actually worked out really well. It did fade probably after like the 5th or 6th like washing. It was completely gone. So it was really nice and vibrant at the very beginning, and it did slowly fade as washings went on. And so yeah, she really, really, really liked it. The pictures you really can't see, but it was a really nice bright red. I also have, you're gonna see some of these like girl figures stickers that are kind of mixed in. I bought these off of Temu last year, and I bought a pack of like 100, and I have used, since I got them, probably 8 stickers. They just sit in my drawer. So this year I have really, really, really been trying to use up stickers for like decoration and just kind of filling in blank spaces. So I got these off of Temu, which I recommend Temu, but I also recommend you not use your debit card on Temu and instead use your credit card, because I don't know if they were correlated, but as soon as I used my credit card on Temu, literally 3 days later, I had fraudulent charges put on my credit card, and I was able to just get those taken off after I contacted my bank. But because it was on a credit card, I didn't have to worry about it affecting like my bank account. So if you decide to use Temu, or actually if you decide to do any kind of online shopping, I highly recommend don't use a debit card, use a credit card. You can always, if something happens, you can always cancel and kind of fight the charges on a credit card without having to worry about your bank account. So just want to put the disclaimer out there that I'm not saying that you should not use Temu. I'm just saying you should not use Temu or any other type of company online with a debit card. Just personal advice. But that was where that came from. So you will see those kind of scattered throughout as well. On the 6th, I had a pre-order that I put in, I don't even remember how long ago. As soon as I saw that this book was available for pre-order, I submitted it in Barnes & Noble. That is Rewind It Back, which is book 5 of the Windy City series. It was the last book of the series. As soon as I saw that it was available, I did a pre-order for it through Barnes & Noble. This was supposed to be released on like the 20th. I got it in the mail in my hands by the 6th. I don't know how I got that lucky. It was not an advanced reader's copy. It was legitimately, it came from Barnes & Noble. Don't know how, but I was extremely excited to get my hands on this a good 2 weeks before I was supposed to. So, love that for me. It was a nice little pleasant little bump to my afternoon when I saw that that came through the mail. Didn't really have anything on either one of those days. I didn't even have, this was a Saturday and Sunday, the 10th and the 11th. Saturdays are usually like my busy days. That's when I'm going shopping with my girls. I'm doing a bunch of errands, and I just never had a chance to do my daily prompt on this day. Same thing for Sunday. I didn't really do a whole lot. I was busy doing other stuff. This was also Mother's Day, and I just didn't feel like putting out my planner. And then we have the 12th and the 13th. On the 13th, I did do a private school tour for my youngest. I was hoping to get her maybe into private school starting next year. It was actually a private school that was specializing with dyslexia. That was what all of the students had. While my youngest does not have dyslexia, she does have learning disabilities, and I think dyslexia might be mixed in. It's just not on her record right now. But I wanted to do a tour of the school, and I really liked the school. But unfortunately, she didn't qualify because she did not have dyslexia on her medical records. Even though she had other stuff and had learning disabilities on them, we weren't able to qualify for the school. So not very happy, but it was really nice to see the private school and seeing all the different things that the private school had for kids with dyslexia, because that's not a very common thing to see. On the 15th, my youngest had her second grade awards. I did not get to go, but my husband did. So I got a picture of her at her award ceremony. I also have, you'll see some other random stickers. These were also from Temu. They were like book related. So I've just decided to start using up all of my stickers. So I think on the Temu, I have it on my website. I think I still have the video live. I don't know if I took it down because I had my credit card had fraudulent charges right after I used it. Not quite sure if that video is still live, but I ended up buying probably, I think it was close to like 850 stickers from Temu for like $7. It was insane. So I have a good 800 stickers left since that order. So I use those as well to fill in space. Then nothing really happened on the 18th or 19th. The 20th was my oldest, was her last official day of school. It was not the official last day of school, but she was able to exempt some finals, so she did not have to go back to school on the last day. So happy for her, but that was her last day of 9th grade. So surprised and so like upset that I have a 10th grader, almost 10th grader. So, but whatever. I did end up getting my subscription that came from Papa Tater. I think this is the first time I've ever had a Papa Tater sticker. So I have that. These were the washies that I ended up getting out of the subscription kit. And then we also had on Tuesday some tornado warnings. I'm in North Alabama, and we tend to get quite a few tornado warnings, unfortunately. But lucky for us, they never actually have panned out to anything. So while it's stressful having the tornado warnings, luckily by the time it gets to my house, they usually kind of filter out, and all we get are really strong winds and rain. So had tornado warnings on this day, but nothing bad happened to my area. Good for me. We have the 22nd and 23rd. Nothing really happened on those days of note. On the 25th, we have a really bad situation when it comes to birds in my back porch. So a couple years ago, we built a covered back patio that has a fire pit or yeah, I guess it's a fire pit. And it's a really nice space. We extended our back porch and it's very relaxing. But we recently have found out the birds like that space just as much as us. And this will be the second time we have had this year a bird's nest. And so I went to water some plants and I was looking at my ferns and I noticed that the ferns were kind of laying weird and I couldn't figure out why. And so I climbed up on a stool to look in my hanging plant, my hanging fern, and I saw that I had a bird's nest with 2 eggs in them. So I had to take the bird's nest down. Don't like doing that, but I cannot have baby birds. I have 2 dogs, and they will, if those birds fell out of that nest, they would be a massacre. So, yeah. So I had bird's nest that we had to relocate. And then shortly thereafter this day, I ended up going to Lowe's and Walmart to find a fake owl to put in our back porch. So that way we can try to keep birds away. And I will say, since that happened, since I bought that owl, I have not had one bird show up anywhere in my back porch. So not only do I have to not worry about birds' nests, I also don't have to worry about bird poop on my back patio furniture. So love that for me. We had the 26th was Memorial Day. It was a off day, which is amazing. I love it when I have a federal holiday. Nothing really happened on the 27th, 28th. Nothing really happened. 29th was Thursday. Apparently, I didn't do anything on this day. I didn't even put my daily prompt that I get off of the Coffee Monsters Co. website. Didn't even put that down. So I don't know what happened on this day, but honestly, it's life. So while I don't like that this page is almost blank, I'm not going to do anything about it because that's just the way it is. So, and then we have the 30th and the 31st. So the 30th was my 46th birthday. I got some flowers. My husband ended up getting me 2 actual cameras. I just recently got one because we could not find it in stores anymore. But it was it was one of my items that I had on my wish list. So my husband on my birthday got me one type of camera, and I was just recently able to get the other camera because it was kind of like a delayed birthday present. So I had my 46th birthday, and then part of my birthday, the very next day, which was a Saturday, we decided to go up to the Tennessee Aquarium, which I had never been to, and it was fun. I will say I liked the Atlanta Aquarium much better. I enjoyed it with my husband and my oldest, but my youngest was very much not into it after about an hour and a half. She was over it. She kept saying her legs were tired. She didn't want to be there anymore. She was ready to go. She was sleepy. She wanted to take a nap. She just didn't want to have anything to do with the aquarium anymore. So that was upsetting, but it was still a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But that is the end of this May Flip Thru. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already. I would greatly appreciate it. And for those of you who have subscribed, I thank you so much. This year has definitely been very challenging for me video-wise, just because I am back at work and I don't have the flexibility that I used to when I was teleworking for 5 years. So it's definitely taken me some getting used to, and I greatly appreciate those of you who have stuck around and hung out with me in this transition period. And I'm really hoping that soon I'll be able to get back on a really good schedule and start posting like I was before, where I would post at least once a week. Nowadays, I post when I can. So I'm hoping to get better. But thank you for all of you who have stuck around and stuck with me through all of this. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.